Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bonus Point Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, TJ Olson, and today's episode is going to be a good one. Super excited about today's episode. Before we dive in, I just want to thank our sponsors once again. First off, Whalebird Kombucha. If you're looking for a great tasting beverage that is actually good for you, go try them out at your local Whole Foods, Air One, or other health food stores. Secondly, F45 Culver City. So F45 isn't just a gym, it's a real community, and their team are all there to help you achieve your fitness goals with sessions in just 45 minutes. Go find them online to get some quarantine training, life-changing results. So today's episode is all about Major League Rugby competition, and specifically regarding an announcement about a new team potentially coming as soon as 2021. If you've been keeping up with the news, you'll know that the new team I'm referring to is planning to be based in beautiful Hawaii. So ever since this announcement has come about, there have been a lot of people who have been really excited about the team, and a lot of excitement all over different social media platforms, but also a lot of questions have been raised. So instead of waiting or hoping for these questions to get answered or speculating on a lot of the stuff, I thought I'd just go straight to the man in charge and ask those questions for myself. So please welcome my guest this time, Cam Kilgour. How you doing, mate? How you going, Cam?
Very good, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, good to have you, mate. It's always good to kind of go straight to the source of these things instead of just having a bunch of people kind of speculating or kind of just saying their opinion. So I'm glad we can get you on today. So
yeah, no,
yeah.
First off, just want to remember those who have fallen in service to America. I know today's a big day in the States, and just like to remember all service men and women around the world and what they have sacrificed for us.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, I know a lot of Americans out there. I know they love their armed forces, and I know they're very patriotic about that. So yeah, happy Memorial Day to everyone out there. And obviously you've been quite a busy fella, and you and your team, you guys have been kind of laying the foundations for the team, for the MLR to hopefully join in the 2021 season. But as I said previously, there's been a lot of questions or maybe concerns that have been raised. So I've gone ahead and prepared some questions, and also some of our questions have come from our listeners as well. So I thought we'd do a little Q&A just to kind of give you an opportunity to answer those. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, perfect. So just before we jump into the questions about the team specifically, can you give us just a little bit of an insight into your career prior to this venture?
Yeah, for sure. I've been involved in rugby management for around 16 years, and I've worked specifically in Australasia, Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific. So I have quite a wide range of knowledge around difficulties in setting up organisations, travel, logistics, and yeah, all sorts of issues around funding. So I've had the experience of working for national teams within New Zealand, club teams in Australia, and international teams in the Pacific. With some of my highlights, I took the Cook Islands Sevens team to the Commonwealth Games in 2014.
Okay, yeah.
Was also part of 2 World Cup qualifiers for the Cook Islands, and unfortunately we lost both those. But just being a part of international rugby at a Tier 3 level was a huge eye-opener for me, and I spent around 5 years with Cook Islands Rugby. So dealing with huge logistical issues and funding issues, I'm aware of, and then obviously working in New Zealand rugby is very different. You know, with rugby is the #1 sport in New Zealand, so being able to educate myself and have a lot of personal and professional development in the rugby circles in New Zealand has given me a lot of knowledge down the track. And no, I just love it. Love the game. Love the States. I've always loved USA and Canadian rugby. The reason for that is, you know, I used to grow up. I grew up as a young Kiwi lad watching the All Blacks play USA and Canada. So it's always interested in me that you know how rugby is around the world, and also I have a big passion for other sports, including basketball. So knowing the talent, the skill, the excitement, and the population in America and Canada could really make this game of rugby huge in the States, and the future of rugby in the States will be is very exciting times.
And I think you touched on it. You said you had some time with the Cook Islands, and not, I guess, a good percentage of people know this, but I think coming from the status of the Cook Islands is they're a great, talented rugby organization, but has been pretty underfunded, or doesn't really have too much support in kind of the early years. So I think having that experience with the Cook Islands, and also with quite well funded or quite well organized teams as well, I think that provides you a good balance to kind of head into that. Yeah, no, it sounds like you got a good experience to jump into the job. But I guess we'll just jump straight into the questions about the team specifically. So a good kind of platform was Scotty Stevenson, aka Sumo, from One New Sport in New Zealand. He kind of gave a good publicity stunt for you and posted it on his Twitter, and was able to talk about the official invitation to join the MLR in 2021. However, people have stated that just because an invitation's been extended, obviously it has to still get approved by the commissioner, and some people are saying it's not 100% locked in for 2021. Would you be able to tell us kind of the team's status with the Major League Rugby at this time?
Yeah, well, before December, I was located in LA, and I was a part of the group, the Australian group that bought the LA franchise, sorry. And then my owner bought the Austin franchise. So I've been involved with those two, setting up LA, and then going in and helping Austin turn around its misfortunes there. But whilst this was going on, we were in discussions with a few people in Hawaii about setting up a Hawaiian franchise. It was meant to sort of be after 2022. However, with Colorado pulling out due to COVID and a few other issues, we decided, look, Hawaii's got huge talent, huge potential. It's massive island for growth, and it has no professional sports team. So we thought, look, let's try to see if we can connect with other Hawaiians on the island and see if we can move this a lot quicker. So within the last 6 weeks, I guess we've done that. We've pulled a team together. We're working with a couple of big name New Zealand Rugby Union people that I can't unfortunately name at the moment, but we will down the track. And we are in the processes of a lot of talks with Hawaiian University, the Hawaii government, Hawaii tourism, and we just think that this can happen. We've got the right team that can get this team in order and set for February 2021, and that includes a number of Hawaiian contracted players in other MLR teams currently. So we're giving them an opportunity to come back to Hawaii and play in front of their families and play at home. We just know that the talent in Hawaii and the Pacific and New Zealand can just dominate, and really what we're trying to do, to be fair, is we're trying to make the Chicago Bulls of rugby. We're trying to find that Michael Jordan who will be in the Pacific, or who will be in Hawaii, and we're trying to find that athlete to lift the MLR to another level. And we've got the right people, we've got the right head coach, and we will have the right resources to make that happen. And look, there are difficulties, and I know you're going to talk about them with some more questions, but yeah, we're just excited. I think you've got to have a passion to do something, and if you want to do it, you just get off your seat and you do it and you make it happen. There's always challenges in all organisations and companies, but challenges are cool, and that's why I like management. I know I can get it done, and that's why I'm getting it done.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I think that was one of the biggest concerns, was a lot of people were saying that there hasn't been a professional sports franchise in kind of Hawaii at the moment. But I think if you if you look at the potential, like you said, and kind of the resources that are kind of based in Hawaii, I think rugby is probably the way to go, as opposed to a basketball team or something else like that. You do have that Pacific Island nature that has been around in the rugby community for a century at least. So yeah, it's something that you can kind of utilize that and make sure that it goes about. But yeah, in regards to the team being based in Hawaii, whereabouts will it actually be based, or where are you guys planning on basing the team?
Yeah, we're looking at a couple of options at the moment. Again, we haven't because we're still getting sign off, and we've still got quite a bit of work to do before we get the executive committee to sign us off. We haven't made it public in Hawaii. We haven't made it public really around the world. We've sort of kept it to ourselves. We have been in communications with obviously with people in Hawaii, but we've just kept it quiet until we're in the right case to make it public, to let everybody know about it. We've tapped on shoulders of a few people that we know that can help us. So we've got Hawaii University as an option. We've got Aloha Stadium that obviously is getting some work done to it over the next 3 or 4 years. We've talked to Hawaii Soccer, and there's a couple of other grounds that we've been told that we could look at developing. So it's really important that we have a good relationship with the Hawaii community and the Hawaii government to assist us with that. But our team's going to be very, very community based, and I know that gets thrown out quite a lot. But our team is actually going to be owned by Hawaiians. It's going to be owned by the local community, the local rugby, the Pacific Islands. This is going to be the world's first professional Pacific Island team. So the superstars of rugby, Jonah Lomu, he made professional rugby. Well, this team is going to make world rugby strong again. So it's a very, very exciting opportunity. It's a very, very exciting team. And again, people have tried this in the past, but people haven't had the likes of the head coach that we've got on board and some other staff members that we've got around us to make this work. And we know that the people in Hawaii have huge positive things to say, and we're really excited about what they can offer and what they can do to help this organisation as well.
Obviously, so you spoke about it. You're in the building stages, and it's obviously things you're not going out broadcasting all these things due to legitimate concerns or trying just to make sure everything's locked in. And I think that's been one of the concerns that has been raised all over. Are you able to share with us any specific kind of community group or people you've been speaking to specifically, or is it still, because it's in that kind of that transition period, you don't really have anyone specifically that you've been number one talking to?
We have reached out to Hawaii University, and we're in talks with them. We're in talks with the Hawaiian Rugby Union.
Okay.
And then we're in talks with a couple of well-known coaches, administrators in the rugby scene in Hawaii that have helped with MLR teams in the past. So look, again, we haven't reached out to everybody, and we haven't really made it public, but we just want to make sure that we get all our dot all our I's and cross all our T's, I guess, is what we're before we announce that we're coming to win the MLR in 2021.
Yeah, I think that's something that in kind of the short time that I've known you, it's good to hear, because you have these aspirations and you go and you make these claims, but it's never something that you're going to go, we're going to win it and that's it. It's always something concrete, and I know that you can kind of walk the walk and not just talk the talk. So I'm glad that they have kind of you in the figurehead position. So
yeah, well, we know it's important to start from the bottom up. So we've got to make sure that we have depth. We've got to make sure that we have the right development. We have the right coaches and players, and the Hawaii rugby public wanting to help in that sense. And there's plenty of talent. So we're making sure that we get everything done correctly before we announce we announce what we're announcing.
I like it that it's development kind of first as well, and making sure that the depth is a big concern, because a lot of people, especially that I've seen in the United States, it's sign the big names or kind of get those key pivotal players in the team, but they don't think about the depth and that kind of stuff. So I like that it's going in that direction. Okay, well, all of those questions, they're pretty much the concrete and the foundation. These next questions will all be obviously dependent whether you guys get approved or when you get approved. But we'll move on to the next question. We'll talk about the first MLR collegiate draft. So this is obviously, it's been locked in. They have the kind of the order of the draft that's coming up next month. If your team was to get confirmed, how would your team participate with the collegiate draft? Would you participate at all? Would you sit out the year, or how would you go with it?
If we were to be accepted, we would take Colorado's spot, I think, which was number 14,
okay,
on the draft list. However, we're not too concerned at this stage if we did miss it. We would look at making sure that we had Hawaiian locals or Hawaiian kids that were at that stage and ready to play professional rugby. That's what we're really trying to do. So a bit like Toronto, Toronto's in the same sort of boat. They're looking at their own backyard and making sure that they get the right talent there first, and we'll probably do the same. I mean, we're so excited, and our head coach is very, very excited about the local rugby. We know high school rugby is very big in Hawaii, so we know that there is huge talent there. And again, it may seem funny and it might sound funny, but the Michael Jordan of rugby will probably come out of one of the high schools in Hawaii. So it's a really exciting time for us, and we're not too phased if we did miss that draft for this year.
And you talked on your head coach kind of being in that specific state. Are you able to share who you guys have got for your head coach, or is it still because it's in kind of the works and you haven't confirmed it yet? We shouldn't kind of speculate it.
I think like on Simo's tweet, you know who it is. We're in talks at the moment. We haven't confirmed anything with him, but in these types of organisations, you like to prepare as much as you can before you do the final announcement. So, and Mick, who we're talking about, Mick Byrne, he's very, very committed, and he likes to get everything in order before he does sign with an organisation. But what he would bring to us would be just, he is the best skills coach in the world, no doubt about it. Mick Byrne is the best skills coach in the world. He's won 2 rugby. I don't think
there's many people that would disagree with you on that one. Yeah.
No. And we know how important it is when you're coaching Pacific Island players and Hawaiian players and New Zealand players, that you've got to have a good rapport. You've got to be able to manage the players well. You've got to be able to connect culturally. And whilst Mick has an Australian passport, he's very much a Pacific Islander. He's very much a New Zealander. So he does connect, and he in the All Black environments he was in, he connected to all the Pacific Island players first and foremost. That was just something he works really hard on, and that's a really big part of his culture piece, and that's massive for us. But just the fact that, his CV in itself, winning 2 Rugby World Cups with the All Blacks, that's huge. And what that brings to our team would be, we'll get a number of players putting up their hands. We'll get other coaches around that will want to be a part of it, want to mentor under Mick. So it's just really exciting for us, and it's a really big piece to the puzzle for us.
Yeah, I think Hawaii will be a good kind of draw alone. I think a lot of people obviously want to have the opportunity to play for a Hawaiian franchise, but I think Mick is obviously not the icing on the cake. It's an even bigger kind of draw to it. So hopefully it all goes to plan. I think the biggest concern raised for a lot of people with the Hawaiian-based team, obviously, as you would have seen, the MLR with Hawaii being a base team may put tremendous financial strain on the kind of the competition, or has been said. Whether this be costs for travel, lodging, other costs to accommodate the team in the league, How will your team ensure, or at least kind of have a plan to get a Hawaiian-based team that doesn't have an adverse financial effect on the rest of the league?
Yeah, thanks. That to be fair, is the main concern for MLR, for our final sign-off, is the additional travel and the accommodation, time away, time difference for kickoff, etc., etc. So, as part of our group, right from December, we made sure that wasn't going to be an issue. We didn't want it to be an additional cost to any other MLR side. So partnering up with an airline, partnering up with a hotel chain, making sure that when the draws are done, that the Hawaiian team, we might be on the road for 3 weeks. So the travel for every team only affects them once, but for us, the Hawaiian team, it's a huge factor. The East Coast, some of the teams on the East Coast are 10 to 12 hours away. So what we have discussed with MLR is that when we do play away, we'll be on the road for 3 weeks. So we'll probably base ourselves in a centralised area, and we will fly back and forth from that area for our 3 games on the road or 2 games on the road. And when teams come to us, we want to make sure that we look after them. So we want to make sure that we have cheapened the flights by our sponsorship, and we put them up in a very good hotel with a great facility for them to train in nearby. So that might mean that Toronto or New York, they might have to travel to Hawaii and be in Hawaii for 3 nights rather than the usual 2. But we have made sure that we've spoken to those MLR teams, and we're reaching out to all of them just to let them know that that's our main concern, and we're fully aware of that, and we want to make sure that before we get signed off, we have that all wrapped up, and that there's no additional costs for MLR sides. But to be fair, yeah, the travel is a unique problem, but it has been an issue for Super Rugby, and there are massive travels that teams take part in over Europe as well. But again, I just see that Hawaii is such a key base for USA Rugby and the future of USA Rugby. Just the talent that they can produce and the talent that is there on that island, that we need to use it. USA Rugby, to better the USA Eagles sevens and women's team, we need to use and to develop the Hawaii Island, because there's so much talent there. It's really exciting.
So it's more of a, obviously see the negative aspects, but you have to weigh the positives up as well. I think that's where a lot of people are kind of hitting the nail on the head, is they're sitting there looking at all the negatives and picking at it. But if you're able to also, you said, to the other side of the coin, you're able to go look at the positive development for USA Rugby, look at all the potential that we can kind of bring to the competition, the organisation, or all that kind of stuff. So I think that's something that I hope people, in my opinion, will take that into consideration. But all this is obviously contingent on all the teams signing off, and obviously the Major League signing off commissioner. If it obviously did still become a big concern and couldn't work for the team's front office, you stated previously that you guys would go do like a tour format. You'd go be over for 3 weeks in a centralized location, or having less games. If it came to that, would you guys be okay with that? You would say, okay, let's work around you guys for the first couple of years?
Yeah, we want to make it work. Our players will be our major concern as well. We've got to make sure that our players are looked after, and our players don't get the short end of the stick. But we want to make this happen. We know how important this is for the future of USA Rugby, to make this happen, and how amazing it would be to go to Hawaii, to go to some of the other islands, and offer an opportunity for a young Hawaiian kid to become a professional sports person, and to be able to play in front of his or her family, village, country, on a professional level. So we understand that we need to get in there. We need to develop the young youth, male and female. We know that how important it is for the growth of female international USA 15s and 7s programs that we develop the Hawaii market as well for them. So we just know how important it is. So we're going to make it work, and we're going to cross those bridges if we need to.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. So you touched on it earlier, the time difference. So obviously, if you're coming from the East Coast, the time difference will be quite crazy. But you said as well is it's travel. It happens in all the other big competitions. You've got South Africa traveling to New Zealand and Australia, vice versa. How will, besides the 3 days or kind of the extra day that added into travel, how do you think the visitors will accommodate to the large time difference, or vice versa, your team?
Yeah, that's a good question. You've just got to really. I've been a part of an organisation where, Super Rugby, for instance. You just do it. It's just part of, you're paid to do it, so you just pull up your pants and you do it, mate. So yeah.
And it's not something that's going to happen, as you said, every game or every week. It's going to be maybe a one-off, maybe once or twice, if that. But it's something where it's just kind of sucking it up as a professional sports athlete and as a coach to kind of just go and do that, acclimate to that time zone, and then go and do it.
Yeah, I was trying to put it in a political sense. Pull up your pants and just get to work, mate.
Yeah.
You've just got to deal with it, and that's why it's important maybe to have good physios or good athletic trainers, or good nutritionists to know, and research how to overcome a 3 hour or 4 hour or 5 hour time difference. So that's something for us to worry about, and the information that we get, we can pass on to MLR teams that are coming to us. So we're going to make this work, and we want to help them as much as we're helping our team. So I think, a team on the East Coast in the middle of winter in the States, would be very happy to fly to Hawaii. There's pros and cons. There's definitely pros and cons, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Well, I guess we're at the end of our regular scheduled questions, but it's called the bonus point for a reason. We've got a bonus point question, and this is kind of a question that I've been seeing popping up all over the place. And with Hawaii being a Pacific based nation and has the closest access to the Pacific nations from anywhere else in the United States, will the team be open to players from places in the Pacific like Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, the Cook Islands, places like that? Will they have an opportunity to kind of put their hand up and try out for that team as well?
Oh, definitely, for sure. That's we want to run combines. Again, it's a very important part of USA sport. So we want to partner up with World Rugby and maybe run the Pacific Island Combine in Hawaii itself. And have a look at the players and give them opportunities to become professional sports people. So we're going to do as much as we can to develop not just Hawaii, but the other Pacific Islands. And the exciting thing for Hawaii, like you said, it's a pathway or gateway to a number of other areas. Like it's a gateway to Japan. It's a gateway to Super Rugby in Australasia. For the USA Rugby Union, this could be a very, very positive landscape. This could change game. And can you imagine a Hawaiian-based professional rugby team playing in the Japanese league in 5 years' time, or in the Super Rugby team in 5 years' time?
That was something that was proposed, I think, a few years ago when they were considering who to add in, whether it be Japan or whether it be a Pacific Islands nation. And then someone put together a proposal for Sanzar and said, let's make a Pacific Island team that's either based in Auckland or based in one of the Pacific Islands. And they would go and play a home game in Fiji, and they would go and play a home game in Samoa. And I think if you take elements of that proposal possibly and you utilize Hawaii as the base, and then it just provides so much opportunity for Pacific players that have so much potential but just don't have an outlet or don't have an opportunity to kind of show their physical aspect or how well they can play through that. So I think that's a great point.
Yeah, it's the future. That is the future. But however, we need the MLR to be strong. We need all of mainland USA and Canada to develop the players in a professional sense, because we need, and I know World Rugby thinks the same, that we need USA and Canada to be strong. The World Rugby World Cup's going to be in the States in 4 years' time or 8 years' time. You know, we want the USA team or the Canadian team to get to the last four, and then lose to the All Blacks. Sorry. But you know, that's what I want to see. You know, I want young MLR players that have come through the system over the last 2 or 3 years to get a test cap for their country, and that's huge. But I do really want to see the USA or the Canadian team get into the top four and just change the game and take over rugby, because, you know, it should.
It has so much potential. That's why you've had so many coaches, so many players come over to this side of the world, because they know it's inevitable. It's not something that could happen or should happen. It's if the right direction is formed and the right resources are put into place, then it's definitely going to happen, because they've done it for years and years and years with other Olympic sports. It just has to be done the right way. So you're right about that. But I think, yeah, that's all the questions that I had for you. Is there anything else do you think that the public should know about the team or the Hawaiian community for this kind of venture?
No, but we're open to as many questions and any support and any information that would benefit us. I'll give you our website. We've got a website and Instagram, Facebook page up and running. Our CEO, she's available to talk. So her number will be up on the website as well. So yeah, I think over the next few weeks you'll hear a bit more about it, and then once we get signed off, then it's going to be a whirlwind. We're just going to take over the world of rugby, and it's very, very exciting. And yeah, I just think what this means for young Hawaiians and young Pacific Islanders, giving them an opportunity to become a professional sports person is huge. And I know people will say, oh, this has been tried before by a number of groups, but I believe 100% that this group that we've got on board, and a number of people that I can't mention at the moment, but once you hear about them, you understand why this is going to happen and why this is going to take off. Yeah, just get excited. Get very excited.
I know I am. I'm already excited.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Cam, for coming on. I know this will kind of answer a lot of questions for a lot of people. And as Cam stated, I'll be happy to put in the contact information and everything when this episode drops. So look out for that on our Facebook page and our Instagram. But yeah, everyone here from the Bonus Point, and I guess across the world, we wish you all the best. We want this to happen, and we want US rugby and Canadian rugby as a competition to grow as a whole. So all the best to you and your team, and we look forward to seeing what happens in the future.
Thanks a lot. Awesome. Cheers, mate.
No worries, Cam. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much for joining us on the Bonus Point podcast.